Okay, so we will discuss now in brief about the commonly used conductors such as hard drawn copper, hard drawn aluminium, and steel cold aluminium conductors. So, first going to the hard drawn copper conductor. So, hard drawn copper conductors are used for overhead lines which provides high tensile strength. As from the name you see, it is copper, so it is obviously the best conductor itself. So it is preferable over any other. But sometimes it is not economical to use also the copper. So that is why these conductors have relatively higher conductivity. Okay, long life, high scrap value. The copper conductors are used for distribution network where the length of the line is short and more tappings. Okay. So hard drawn copper conductor is one among the conductors, the different conductor materials. Next is the steel cored copper conductor. So steel cored copper conductor is SCC. The abbreviation is SCC. The steel cored copper conductors are made by surrounding a steel core with one or more layers of copper strands. You know, you understand the meaning of strands. You see in the diagram here, numerous strands are actually made together surrounding each other. So, this is what, in case of steel cord copper conductor happens, that it is basically the steel cord copper conductors are made by surrounding a steel core with one or more layers of copper strands. Due to the addition of steel, what happens? The tensile strength. Remember one thing, copper, the best property is conductivity. I'm not saying others are not having conductivity, but each of these materials, aluminium, copper, steel, they have a respective property which is not present in the other one. So you remember this thing, copper is known for the best conductor of electricity. Number one. Steel, the best for tensile strength. Okay. Aluminium, the best for because it is light in weight. These three properties are these three metals are having. Okay. So if these three metals are having these three properties, we arrange them in such a way like strand wise so that all the properties are present. Okay, so the steel cored copper conductors are made by surrounding a steel core with one or more layers of copper strands. Due to the addition of steel core, tensile strength of the conductor is increased. Obviously, with copper, if you include still steel, then the tensile strength will increase. The next one is cadmium copper conductor. CCC actually. So remember the abbreviations because as we will move on to the abbreviations of the aluminium conductors, you'll get confused. So remember this because these often come as short notes. Okay. So cadmium copper conductor. Sahil Nadaf left the meeting. Fine. Cadmium copper conductors. With the addition of cadmium, there is increase in tensile strength of copper. Again, something which increases the tensile strength is cadmium. Okay, steel at the same as we I told about steel. The core tensile strength is very high in steel. Similarly, cadmium is also something whose tensile strength is high. So, tensile strength of copper is increased using the cadmium at the cost of decrease in the conductivity. Obviously, if you bring cadmium, copper's conductivity will decrease. So, at the cost of decreasing the conductivity, the tensile strength is increased using cadmium. Thus, these conductors can be used for longer spans. Longer span. Span you told, I told you during the calculation of sag what the span is, the total length between the towers, that is the span. So, these conductors can be used for longer spans as the tensile strength is increased. So, longer spans with same sag is possible. The advantages include easiness in jointing, more resistance to atmospheric corrosion, better resistance to wear, and easy machinability. And these conductors are also carried by smaller supports and subjected to low wind and ice loadings due to their smaller diameter. So This is about the advantage, okay, that they can be carried by smaller supports and they are subjected to low wind and ice loadings. Okay, so this is the advantage part. Remember these points. Each of the conductor materials are having advantages and disadvantages. Remember with like that. Okay, next is the copper weld conductor. In this type of conductor, copper is welded onto a steel wire by hot rolling and cold drawing a billet of steel coated with copper. Okay, now you may say that what is hot rolling and what is cold drawing. When you are melting the hot rolling is something, what should I say? You are melting the substance and you are rolling to form that material in that hot condition only. Okay, in that hot condition only you are doing that. And there is also cold rolling. The difference between hot rolling and cold rolling, I just said that hot rolling is basically the metal working process in which the metal is heated above the crystallization temperature. Means it will, after melting, it will recrystallize now. So that above the recrystallization temperature, when the metal is heated, that is hot rolling. Okay, so that when it is heated above the recrystallization temperature, to plastically deform it in the working or rolling operation. Now, why this process is used? This process is used to create the shapes with the desired geometrical dimensions. Means according to your shape and dimension, you can create it. That is the main thing of hot rolling. Okay, so this is hot rolling. Similar process of cold rolling is also there, having done it in a different way, because cold rolling is a process where the metal which you are using, that is sheet or strip metal, that is introduced in between rollers and then they are compressed and squeezed. That is the cold rolling process. So hot rolling and cold rolling, I hope it is a bit clear now. So, copper weld conductor, it is saying that in this type of conductor, copper is welded on to a steel wire by hot rolling and cold drawing. Means after it is cold, when it becomes cold, you draw it in the form of a billet of steel coated with copper. The uniform thickness of copper is welded. The conductivity of this conductor lies in the range of 30 to 60% of that of solid copper conductor having same diameter. These are used for longer spans such as river crossings. So you get that each of them is used for a purpose. The earlier cadmium, there what happened means cadmium copper conductor, that there what happened, that it is used for large span lengths and it can be carried by smaller supports and are subjected to low wind and ice loading. Whereas in copper weld conductor, here copper is welded to steel wire. So here what happens, the conductivity of the conductor reduces. It happens to be in the range of 30 to 60% of that of earlier solid copper. And here the what happens, the strength is increased, so that is why they are used for longer spans such as river crossing. Here also longer spans like river crossing, but with reduced amount of conductivity. Okay, next one is aluminium. All this is very important. AAC, and again the next one will be AAAC, triple AC and double AC. So this is all aluminium conductor. Due to increasing cost of copper, aluminium is used in transmission system. Electrolytically refined aluminium is rolled and drawn hard for use as a conductor. So basically the material that you are getting out of each of the conductors are made in different processes. Means whether it is the rolling is different, hard drawn or cold rolled, and when how it is drawn, hard drawn and cold drawn, that is different. So it is AAC and double AC is electrolytically refined aluminium. So you obtain it electrolytically. So electrolytically refined aluminum is rolled and drawn hard for the use as a conductor. For a specific resistance, the cross-sectional area of the aluminum conductor is greater than that of copper, while its weight is about 50% of that of copper conductor. Steel is obviously heavier. Okay, steel is heavier, so the weight is 50% more than copper. This makes the transportation and erection of such conductors economical. Corona effect is reduced. This is not that coronavirus again. This is a phenomenon. Corona effect is reduced due to increased diameter of the conductor. These conductors are more used in distribution where transmission lines are short and voltage are lower. There are chances of interface faults due to swing if these conductors are employed in areas where there are high winds. This is because aluminum conductors are lighter with large conductor area and more sag. Okay, so AAC is where the weight is 50% increased, and at the same time it is used more oftenly in the distribution and transmission lines where it is short. You know, transmission lines can be divided into three types: short, medium, and long transmission lines. So, in short, these are used. There are chances of interface fault due to swing of these conductors. So this is one of the disadvantages. So that is why they are used in areas where there is high winds. Okay. So this is because aluminum conductors are lighter. Again, the function of aluminum, it is lighter in weight than other conductors. That is why it is used here. So here this is aluminum used in a different or made in a different manner, like electrolytically refined aluminum this is. And next we go on to the aluminum conductor with steel reinforcement. See the diagram carefully. This is a very common conductor used, and the name is also very frequently asked. ACSR. ACSR, aluminum conductor with steel reinforcement. Two types of materials are there, steel and aluminum. Okay. Aluminum is used in the central part, and steel reinforcement means steel is aluminum is used in the outer part, and steel is used in the inner part as the core. Okay, so the mechanical strength is obtained from the conductors made up of all the aluminum. This difficulty can be overcome by adding steel core to the conductor. So basically, in the core, steel is used, and in the aluminum is used outside. The shaded portion that you can see, that is steel, and the blank circles that you can see, those are aluminum. Okay, so as shown that here it is shown like that there are seven steel strands, seven steel shaded portions you can count, there are seven. Okay, which forms the central core part, and it is surrounded by two layers of aluminum. Around 30 aluminum strands are there. So for a given resistance, conductors of different strengths can be made by taking different properties of steel and aluminum areas. Now, the steel core does not contribute to conduction of current practically. The current carrying capacity and the resistance of this conductor is dependent on the conductivity of aluminum. So mainly what happens, mainly whatever the conductivity part, that happens due to aluminum, not steel. Steel is not a very good conductor of, not the best conductor of electricity. Steel is only employed for the strength, tensile strength. Aluminum is very light and fragile, so to make it strong, we use steel. Okay, so the ACSR conductors are more commonly used as they have the following advantages. Let's go to the advantages of ACSR. Aluminum conductor with steel reinforced. So the following are the main advantages. We will also go to the disadvantage, but first the advantage part. Due to high mechanical strength and tensile strength, the line span can be increased. The sag is small, so shorter supports are required for the line. Obviously, we want the sag to be small. Everyone wants that because wastage of material will be happening otherwise. Okay, so the if the sag is small, the shorter supports are required for the line. It is also possible to have longer spans. Okay, don't confuse between span and sag. Many people, I think they are confused. Span is the total length difference between the two towers, length between the two towers, and sag is how much the suspension is occurring. Okay, so the shorter supports are required for the line. It is also possible to have longer spans for a given sag. Due to smaller supports, breakdown possibility is low. Insulator and other fittings needed are also less. This is one number one advantage. Next is that they have low corona loss. Number three, skin effect is less. And number four, the conductors are inexpensive as compared to copper conductors having equal resistance. So they are cheaper also. What they are saying is that inexpensive means they are cheaper compared to copper conductors of equal resistance without reduction in efficiency and useful lifespan and durability. So here goes the advantages. Here the two terms corona loss and skin effect are two phenomenon that is observed in transmission lines. And why it happens or what does it take place, I'll explain, because when it will come the mechanical design part or and the electrical design part, I'll just go in detail into what corona and skin effect is. These are important because they come as short notes. Both corona phenomenon of corona, it comes as a separate question only, and skin effect also. Skin effect is very very important as short note. Okay, I'll explain them when it comes our module, next module. So, coming to the disadvantage. The disadvantage with ACSR conductor is difficult to make splices and dead ends. There are also possibility of corrosion due to electrochemical action between aluminium and steel. Yes, aluminium and steel you are using them, they can electrochemically react between each other. So that is one of the disadvantage and a very important one also. So there is also a possibility of corrosion due to that reaction. Now, the service conditions decide the corrosion rate. How the corrosion, how high the rate is, corrosion rate is, the service conditions decide how you are using it. Okay, so this is higher in industrial and coastal areas. Why so? Because both in industrial and coastal areas, in coastal areas, it is the salt that can cause high rate of corrosion. And industrial areas, why? In industrial areas, there are free ions that exist in the atmosphere. Okay, so this corrosion rate is higher in industrial and coastal areas. The compacted ACSR or aluminum conductor steel reinforcement, the compacted ACSR conductor or smooth body ACSR conductor is made by pressing. It is made by pressing. Just see the diagram. By pressing the conventional ACSR conductor through dies to flatten the aluminum strands into segmental shapes. The spaces within the strands are filled while the diameter of the conductor is reduced. This does not affect the electrical and mechanical properties in the conductor of this conductor. Thus, with same aluminum area, diameter of steel core is increased, which increases mechanical strength. These conductors can be used for larger span lengths. Okay. So the expanded conductors are made by adding a plastic or fibrous material. Now see this diagram. This is a like ACSR conductors. They are expanded, and the expanded conductors, how they form? The expanded conductors are made by adding a plastic or fibrous material between the steel core and the aluminum strands. You can see the diagram. First, the central part is the normal ACSR conductor that you saw. Okay. Means at the core there is the steel, surrounding the steel there is aluminum, and then comes the expanded conductor, which is expanded by the filling up with filler materials. First, there are steel strands outside. Then, outside the steel strands, there are filler material, and outside it there is again aluminum strands. At the outermost layer, that is the aluminum strands. Now what happens? The expanded conductors are made by adding a plastic or fibrous material. That is the filler material, it is written. Okay, fibrous material between steel core and aluminum strands. This increases the diameter of the conductor, which reduces corona loss and radio interference at extra high voltages. Okay, now the filler material like such as paper separates the inner steel strands from outer aluminum strands. So this was about our ACSR and expanded ACSR. I'll move on to the next one, which is AAAC or triple AC. Triple AC. The conductors made from aluminum alloys are suitable in urban areas as they provide better tensile strength and conductivity. These alloys are known with different names in various countries. Some of these alloys they are costly as they are heat treated. One of the alloys of aluminum is Silmalec, Silmalec. Okay, Silmalec, which contains 0.5% of silicon, for silicon, 0.5% of magnesium, that is why Ma. Then and the rest is LEC, that is aluminum. Okay, due to this, there is improvement in conductivity and mechanical strength. You see, alloys are made of all aluminum alloy conductor AAAC. They basically consist of these three metals: silicon, magnesium, aluminum. These three in these percentage of 0.5%, 0.5%, and the rest aluminum forms this alloy, and it is called all aluminum alloy conductor. Why do they do this? Because there is improvement in conductivity and mechanical strength. Okay, so next conductor is ACAR conductor. In such conductor, the central core is made up of aluminum alloy, which is surrounded by layers of aluminum conductors. So there is aluminum alloy here in this one, ACAR. There is aluminum alloy which is surrounded by aluminum conductors. So the alloy and the conductors both are present. So the conductivity is better and the tensile strength to weight ratio is equal to ACSR conductor having same diameter. As compared to the ACSR conductor, ACAR conductor is smaller in size and light in weight, lower in weight for the same electrical capacity. So here goes the advantage part of ACAR rather than ACSR. So ACAR, what do we understand? That ACAR is basically having the alloy of aluminum and the aluminum itself arranged in layers, and this increases the conductivity. It is better than ACSR due to the better strength and strength to weight ratio. Okay, so this is ACAR. Next, we move to phosphor bronze conductor. Phosphor bronze, again, from the name you understand, there is phosphor, there is bronze. Um, this type of conductor is stronger than copper conductor and may be used for longer line spans. The conductivity of such conductor is low, which can be improved by the use of cadmium copper core. So core is made up of cadmium copper. Phosphor bronze is found to be suitable for atmospheres containing harmful gases because of the reaction again. So, harmful gases, they can be not affected with the harmful gases, this phosphor bronze conductor. That is why they are used. Next is the Alamo weld. Alamo weld. In this type of conductor, Aluminium is welded on high strength steel wire. This is costlier as compared to steel cord aluminium or ACSR conductors. Around 75% of the conductor area is recovered by aluminium. This is used in earth wires. Fine. So this is another type where it is steel cord aluminium, means ACSR, that comparatively is this one is better than that, the ACSR. So this here also aluminium is welded on high strength steel. So that is why alamo welding is done. Okay, so around 75% of conductor area is covered by aluminium after the welding. Next is the galvanized steel, which is the last, it seems to be. But there are many more in your syllabus actually. There is TACSR, TACAR, TAAAC, such kinds of things are there. So I'll just give the notes better, okay, of those things. Because individually, all these individual conductor materials, how they can be treated, how they happen, that you need to just go through the advantages and learn as very short notes, nothing else. Okay. So galvanized steel conductors, this type of conductor is suitable for large length of line span and in rural areas where the load requirement is comparatively smaller. This type of conductor has high strength. The conductor has large resistance, inductance, and voltage drop. The disadvantage of this conductor is that it has shorter lifespan is shorter. So here goes our all about the conductor part. Now something that is needed. This is something which is you need to understand a bit. As we have studied, gone through the conductors, now comes the vibrations of the conductors. This is uh, another important phenomenon that happens in overhead transmission lines. And why these happens, that is like you need to understand. This is something you, apart from mugging up, you need to know. Okay, so there is theory as well as something that you need to understand like logically. So this is one of that is vibration of the conductors. Whatever conductors that you saw till now, those conductors are used as both for supports as well as for line conductor. Main thing is line conductor, and the other metals, some of the metals are also used as supports, not as conductors but supports. Now, what happens when these are arranged in the form of transmission lines and the sag is happening and everything is like arranged tower to tower wise, the overhead transmission lines undergo vibrations. Why? We all know that if lines are there, means line conductors are there, there will be insulators also that will keep the conductor apart from the rest of the system, because insulators are very, very, very important in case of this transmission lines, where they are very carefully placed and taken care of, because they should not break down, the insulation should not break down at any particular time. So they are regularly checked, the insulators. Now, these insulators are something uh, which can lead to vibrations also. Okay, means they can be a part of vibration, not entirely it is due to that. So the conductors are supported on string insulators. These are kind of insulators, just remember that, string insulators at each tower. Conductors are supported on string insulators at each tower. Under widely varying atmospheric conditions like strong wind velocities, the conductors can start vibrating mechanically in the vertical plane. Such vibrations can have different frequencies, amplitudes, and modes. So these two phenomenon, there are two types of vibrations in the vertical plane, not horizontally. Remember, in the vertical plane, the conductors swing when. So these two types are aeolian vibration and galloping or dancing of the conductors. So aeolian vibration and galloping. These two phenomenon again come as short notes. So especially galloping. So when they ask for vibration of the conductors and damper, you need to explain both of these. What happens? There are certain frequency ranges in case of aeolian vibrations, that in case of galloping also. Mainly, it is the frequency range uh, which due to which these vibrations happens. Means the frequency of the vibrations. So aeolian vibration, the first kind, I'll just go. The aeolian vibrations have a frequency range of 8 to 40 Hz with amplitudes varying between 2 to 5 centimeter. Thus, these vibrations are high frequency, low amplitude vibrations. The wind velocities of about 2 to 40 kmph or kilometer per hour can generate such type of vibrations. So you see, what are the factors? Wind velocity. Due to the wind, it is happening, the strong wind velocities, that due to that high wind velocities about 2 to 40 kilometer per hour, these wind velocities can generate such type of vibrations whose frequency range is 8 to 40 hertz and amplitude between 2 to 5 centimeter. Okay, so this is about your aeolian vibration, the frequency of which is given by f of alpha equals to 2 into Vp by d into 10 cube, where Vp is what? Vp is the wind velocity in kmph or kilometer per hour perpendicular to the conductor, and d is the diameter of the conductor in meter. So these vibrations are not much harmful, but if frequency of vibrations coincide with the natural frequency of the conductors, then resonant condition can be achieved, and this may result in breaking of strands and mechanical failure of the conductors. So you can understand at resonance how dangerous the resonance is. Resonance can be how dangerous, and at resonance how damaging this can be for the entire transmission lines, these vibrations. Okay, so that is why these vibrations of the conductors are very important. The aeolian vibrations are harmful from suspension point of views, means how they are hanging, that point of view. The aeolian vibrations travel along with the length of the conductors. Now, where the clamps are used and the free vibrations are restricted, the aeolian wave reflects back, causing momentary bending of conductor. So momentarily they bend. Imagine the vibrations effect. They bend momentarily, and this may damage the conductors. The conductors are vibrated back and forth continuously at suspensions due to aeolian vibrations. Such a stress is called metallurgical fatigue. The use of bundled conductors, proper design and location of spacers and clamps are, and use of dampers can minimize. So these bundled conductors, proper design, locations, they can minimize the effect of aeolian vibration. And the last but not the least one is the galloping of the conductors. So galloping is something which happens at a different, again at a different frequency. So here the galloping means dancing of the conductors. You see the diagram, you'll understand. Galloping means dancing of conductors at low frequency and high amplitude. So these are oscillations of completely Oscillations of complete span of conductors means entire span wise it happens. It's not the lower hanging part or anything. Galloping means the entire thing is taking place the throughout the entire span of the conductors. It causes longitudinal movement of conductors through the conductor clamps. The frequencies of galloping are about 0.25 to 1.5 hertz and the amplitudes of about 6 meter. Okay. The figure shows the three modes of galloping, that is one loop, two loop, and three loop. You will understand what the galloping is because you see the conductor and the amplitude in the first one loop. In two loop, what happens? It moves in both directions. Means it can be the wave can be in two cycles rather. Okay, so when the wind blows past the non-circular conductor, the galloping initiates. The oscillations are built on their own and galloping becomes very large. The path of the conductor is elliptical and in galloping, this can cause flexure fatigue and there is a possibility that conductors may ripped off from the pin insulators. So if the amplitude is, imagine it, if it is ripped off from the pin insulators, the conductor will fall and it will break. If the amplitude is large, more than the sag, then clashing of conductors with earth occurs and flashover may result. So the galloping is rare phenomenon but possible mainly in rainy and snowfall conditions. Apart from the icing conditions, the galloping is rare. But when occurs, it can cause damage to the conductors, spacers, clamps, and towers. There are no methods by which galloping can be restricted, but in icing conditions, height of the conductors can be designed properly considering the amplitude of possible galloping. Means if you can pre-plan that how galloping can be in that ice coating condition, then the height of the conductors you can design accordingly so that galloping reduces. As galloping vibrations are longitudinal, horizontal configuration of conductors can avoid the clashing of conductors during galloping. So I'll just finish now only. Um, I'll not explain this thing. You don't need the vibration damper. Main thing is the factors. So what are the factors that affect the vibrations of the conductors? Atmospheric conditions like ice, rain, high wind velocity. Next is the span of the conductor. Next is the tension in the conductor, then the conductor configuration. Next is the types of clamps used, then the height of the towers, then the number of dampers and spacers used, and their locations also. And the last one is some other factors depending on electrical and electromagnetic phenomenon like corona. So up to this much, I think it is enough. The conductor part of the overhead transmission line, it is over now. So I'll not further delay. In the next class, I'll go to the insulator part and I'll finish this module. If the insulator is done, this module will be over. So thank you everyone for joining the class. I'll be just leaving now. You can join the